No.
Accept that. So thank you guys for being here. Just hit that accept of record. I will drop in chat as a reminder. We've got a regional YouTube channel. That is where the recording of this will live. So if you want to go back and watch this later, or you have friends that weren't able to make it today, that is where you are able to watch that. So for those of you that I haven't met, my name is Sydney Seymour. I'm the regional technology trainer for the KW Carolinas region, and I have the absolute pleasure of working with all of you on a daily basis, along with your market trainers, market center leadership team, and just blessed to work with all of you guys every single day. I know we've got some other people that are still jumping in, but we're going to go ahead and get started because we've got an incredible agenda for the day. And I just want to make sure, I believe I saw him, Mr. Zach Ruff, are you on the call? If you can just either unmute.
I am, I'm here.
You are here. Hey, Zach, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm good. I'm going to do that thing that everybody loves, which I'm going to spotlight you. I know it's
Thanks.
his absolute favorite thing. And I think that I'm going to I can spotlight myself. So I won't make you live in this spotlight by yourself. So everybody's here today, Zach, because we've been bragging on you for just a little bit. So those of you that are here, this is the How to Create a Winning Facebook Ad workshop over the next, we'll say like 55 minutes. I'm going to interview Zach after 55 minutes. But I'm going to interview Zach because he's really running some Facebook ad command at a very, very high level. So I'm going to talk to him about just some things that he's doing differently around that. And then once we go through that, we'll actually jump into more of what we're used to, a workshop where I will actually pull up command. We'll walk through based off of what Zach shared with us, how to create that winning Facebook ad. So with that, yeah, I see the chat, you guys. So continue to please drop in the chat where you're from. We've got well over 80 people on this call. So thank you for being here. I'd love to find some referral business for all of you. So Zach, if you don't mind, would you just introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about you, your background, which market center you're out of, and what your role is there?
So I'm at the Mountain Partners Market Center in Hendersonville, North Carolina. And I took over the PC role almost just about a year ago now. And I've got my business and it's doing pretty good.
It's doing very good. Yeah, it's doing really, really well. And are you originally from that area, Zach? Are you from?
No, I'm originally from southeastern Ohio.
Oh God. Okay. So you're one of the Ohio people that has made their way down. Okay, got it.
To get on the right side of the Appalachian Mountain.
That's right. Okay, so you and and it's actually, I think your team leader is on here, Brian French, but he had mentioned to me like everything that you guys were doing with the PC program, which for those of you that are not familiar with the PC program, you essentially run that through command as if it were a team. It's just a large team, which is exactly what Zach is doing. So I want to share these numbers because these are really incredible. And if these have changed or keep me honest here, Zach, but to my memory, in February, you ran 5 ads through your Facebook through command, which captured 193 leads. Am I correct with that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
At about 89 cents a lead.
Yeah, very expensive. Yeah, 89 cents a lead. So those of you that are here, all close to 100 of you, tell all your friends that they missed a class on how to get more leads for 89 cents a lead, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. So Zach, walk me through, because when you and I spoke about this, I think the number one question that we hear from agents is like, that's awesome, 89 cents a lead. I want to do that. What do I do? Like, I'm not a marketing person. I don't know how to word it. Like, you're getting all of these leads. So honestly, what are you even putting in your ads? What do they look like?
So basically you just follow your steps in command when you set up a paid ad. And I stick with like a hot selling number, like anywhere from 3 to 700,000.
Okay.
And that seems to generate the most.
Okay. So you're looking at, am I correct in saying that like, it's going to be specific to your market? So for someone that's in the Charlotte market, they would maybe want to look and see like, what's the price where as soon as a house goes on the market, it's not available anymore that people are wanting to look at? Do you think that would be different for each market?
It's different from each market, but you can also look and see where your people are moving in from and run the ads in those areas. Like for instance, I'll run ads in Naples, Florida, Northern California, the Midwest, and the Northeast.
So tell me more about, because I think that's really big and that's something that you're doing different than other people is a lot of people are saying, well, I live in Hendersonville or I live in Charlotte. So when we get to the point of where we're actually running the ad, of course, we're just going to pick the city where the listing is or where the house is or where we live. So tell me more about picking those areas and how are you finding the data? Like, how do you know that running it in Naples would maybe make sense?
That just knowing your local market and where people are coming from. Like ask around everybody in your market center where their buyers are coming from, and that's the best way to find out.
Yeah.
If you communicate with everybody, you're going to get the information you need.
Yeah. So you guys do me a favor, write in chat, because I'd be interested about this. So those of you that are here, just answer this question for me in chat. Have you seen in the last year or so, have you seen an increase of people moving to your market from different states and specific states? So just type yes or no in chat. I'm just interested to see. Okay, yeah, this is like overwhelming. Patty, I'm seeing from the Northeast. Yeah, without a doubt, we're seeing a ton of people moving to the Carolinas from the Northeast, California, New York, Texas, huge in your area from Raleigh. So even interstate as well. Ohio's always big. Okay, so you guys are already well armed with this knowledge. And I don't know if anybody saw this report the other day, but Austin, Texas is now the highest rental market in the country. So we know the housing market obviously is going to be close to that as well. It surpassed Los Angeles and Miami, which is huge. So Zach, in any of the ads that you're running, are you coming from a place of here's what X amount of dollars can get you in Hendersonville that we're spending or we're showing to people in other areas?
So, like on the heading, you just want to put something that grabs their attention, like new build, new construction, great neighborhood, low crime rate, stuff like that.
Okay. So we want to see like here. One's calling. Mute. Maybe not sure who that is. Maybe you guys have a buyer. That's a lead that came in for you guys. And as those of you that are here watching, feel free to unmute yourself if you guys have questions for Zach. And then again, we'll dive into how to actually create the ad in a moment, or feel free to drop that in chat. So Zach, let me ask you, because you mentioned the headline, like list of new homes, new to the market, whatever that might be. So what are you using if it's not a specific listing, because we know that we want some sort of photo or something in the ad as well. What are you using for that?
Oh, I highlight like things to do in our area, like a lot of biking, mountain hiking, mountain biking, fishing, outdoor things that bring people to Western North Carolina.
Got it. Okay. So you're really building on the, like, if you live here, it's like that experience, right? It's that experiential living that if you're moving to this area, this is probably a lot of the reason why people are moving here. So again, it doesn't necessarily have to be around just a listing. It can be different things that we've got there.
Right.
Perfect. Okay. And then let me ask you, and we'll actually walk through this in a live environment, but there is an option, when we're creating a Facebook ad, there's two options. One is that we can use the Facebook lead gen form. Another one is that we can choose to bypass that and say, nope, I'm going to use my own website. I don't want the Facebook lead gen form. Which of those do you use and why do you do it that way?
You have to do the lead gen form because that's where they build it into their algorithm. You don't need to take control of this ad. You're just going to give them the money and let them do what they do.
Got it. So we could end the class there, Zach. Just give them the money and let them do what they do. Yeah. So I think that's so right that sometimes we think like I should build out this whole thing and that's where I should take them to. But what Zach is saying, and we'll actually look at this, but if you guys have ever like been on social media or been on something and you see a pair of shoes or you see something and you click on it, it knows all of your details. Facebook's working on the algorithm for that. and then we're just capturing information at that point. So let me ask you, because Facebook does give you an option to go in and say, okay, as soon as Facebook grabs their information, I do want them to then be taken to the website where you could have a website or you could have something. Where do you generally have the leads then go from there?
So I'll take the address of the listing, put it on my website, and then go to the house from my website, pull that link and include that into the Facebook ad. That way you're capturing their information here, and then they're also going to register on your website, which
Perfect.
puts them into command. And anytime they look at a house, you're going to get a notification through the command app.
So you're almost like, it's a dual opportunity, right? That Facebook is going to capture the information. They're going to do their thing. I'm giving Facebook the money. They're going to do it. And once I have their information, I'm then sending them over to my website, which this is huge, you guys. Remember that your Keller Williams website, there's no MLS boundaries with that. Anybody can search anywhere across the country. So to Zach's point, if we have someone that lives in Naples and is searching for a home up there, they're going to be able to use that. They're going to be able to create an account. And then you as the agent are going to see, what are they looking at? What are they liking? What are they favoriting? What does that engagement look like there? Okay. So a question that we hear a lot is, should I, because we have the ability when we're building out the ad to really like drill down on, here's what this, I want people that have interest in this. I want them, we talked about that you might do one locally and one in a different town. Do you add interest to your ads or do you just let it run? What have you found that works best for that?
I let it run because if you use the interests that are built in there on command, it limits the audience that you're going to like show that ad to.
Okay, got
So
it.
it's not really worth it to use to break down your audience. You want that as big as many people as possible.
We're making an impact. We want to be able to fish from the largest pond that we possibly can and be able to do that. Okay. And then this is what I think I get this question a lot. I don't know when you talk to people, Zach, if you've ever gotten this question, but I think sometimes people say like, okay, so are you spending like $500 on an ad? Are you spending $300 on an ad? How much do you spend on each of your ads?
$30 an ad.
$30 an ad. Yeah. So I think sometimes people think, well, I gotta spend like a large amount. And what took you to that 30? Or did you just kind of say, let's do 30 and see what happens?
Oh yeah, just see, just
Okay.
put it in and let it run.
You let them take your money and it works.
Yeah.
And then final question. Oh, we got a question from the chat. How many days do you have it run for?
10 days.
10 days, which tell me, Zach, is that the suggested time or did you come up with that yourself?
That's suggested time.
That's suggested. And then how often do you post an ad? So you ran 5 in February. So are you're running like every 10 days, you're running a new one, or what does that look like?
Yeah, every 10 days I restart them all. So once you have it built, you can just hit copy campaign and it'll automatically rerun it. Once it's built, you don't have to do anything else.
Perfect. Everything's in there. We can just duplicate it and then it allows it
Yeah,
to
duplicate. That's what you click.
Perfect. And then, and we'll go through this when we're building out the ad, but you do have the ability to actually, when I build out the Facebook ad, I can say, okay, I immediately want any leads from this to be added to a specific smart plan. Do you have them immediately added onto a smart plan when you run the ad?
Yeah, you can. So I tag it with the address and then I put them on the neighborhood nurture smart plan as soon as it comes in, and command will automatically do everything for you now.
Perfect. So because they've been looking in that area or they clicked on that ad, we know kind of the market or the area where they would obviously be interested. And then that smart plan is just immediately triggering as they're coming in.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. You're a productivity coach, so I would think you would know this. Any idea on conversion rates?
Still 1 to 100.
1 to 100. So along with what we're seeing with internet leads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And then do you do basic listing photos or do you create photos in designs to use while you run the ad?
No, everything just pulls straight from the MLS listing right onto the ad.
Perfect. So not having to take any time and do that, we're just pulling the listing in with that. Okay, perfect. So Brian said, how are you determining the location where buyers are coming from? So I know we had kind of gone a little bit through that, but do you want to dive a little bit deeper, Zach, into how you're figuring that out?
There's a way you can look it up through MLS and pull everything.
Okay, so we could look it through MLS. I'll show you guys as well. There's a way that we can do it. This would only pull KW data, but there is a way that we can also do it in referrals, that we can start to look at referral rates and where the largest migration patterns are looking at. And then Zach also mentioned, for those of you to like just ask at the market center, right? And to find out, and I think we're all starting to see that there's real estate publications out there as well that are starting to see trends around that of migration patterns as well. Okay, before I kind of switch and we actually jump into a live environment, is there anything that, and I know you've been running ads for a little while, but is there anything that you're like, I learned that, and
She said the buyer is still waiting on this to clear their underwriting for Whitney.
Oh my gosh, still waiting. Hang on, somebody's waiting for underwriting. Let's make sure that we all are aware of that. Is there anything that you're like, okay, I kind of failed forward a little bit with that, and I would maybe like, I did an ad and I didn't have the results that I wanted, and anything that if you were just running the first ad now, what would you do differently?
The buyer one has always been easy. I'm still trying to work on to pull listing leads in.
Okay.
It seems to be a little more tricky, and then not as clear how to go forward with that.
Okay, got it. So yeah, Lynn actually was asking, I think she was like,
I saw that pop up.
getting in your brain a little bit, right? That I think the buyer leads, and then how do you capture sellers? I think we could also potentially, my head goes to, for like a seller lead, if we're starting and we can advertise, I know every state and area is different, but if we can advertise how much a home sold for, we're able to say like, your neighbors just got 10% over asking, you know, click here for a CMA. So I know we've seen some with that. Kevin asks, are you using your listings? What listings are you using for these?
Anybody in the market center.
Okay. So just with permission, anybody that, I'm sure that most agents in a market center, if you said, hey, I want to spend some money and I want to advertise your listing, would probably be okay with it.
Yeah, nobody's ever said no. So
got it. Okay, good. And then Lacey, what content do you use in your ads? We're actually going to pull up Command in just a moment, and I'll walk through everything that Zach is doing for that. And then listing leads are what I'm wanting to target. Yeah, Lindsay, I think we're obviously this one's maybe like a bit more buyer specific, but we could do like click here for a CMA, or, you know, anything kind of around that as well. All right. Any other questions from anyone before we dive in of now actually how to take what Zach has mastered and actually walk through it? No? Okay. So if you guys do me a favor, just light up the chat with thank yous for Zach, because he was on amazing spring break last week and even offered to do this class during his spring break. And I said, no, don't take time away from that. But I just asked him like, hey, would you be interested? And without a doubt, he said yes. So huge thank you to that. So thank you, Zach, for being here. Feel free to stay on. I'd love for you to answer any questions in chat that people have as well, just because you've really perfected this. I will now go in and I will remove your spotlight. Thanks, Zach. We so appreciate you. Thanks for being here. And I will remove my own spotlight. And I am going to just jump in real quick, you guys, and I'm going to actually share my screen, and we are going to actually walk through now how we would be able to do exactly what Zach shared with us. So I've got chat open over here. And so if you guys have questions, feel free to ask any questions in chat. I've got amazing market center tech trainers that are here as well. Thanks, Monica. I know I saw Tina. I know Ross is here. Brittany, Tracy, all of you guys are incredible. Anybody else, I'm sorry that I'm missing you, but they are here. They're able to monitor chat as well. And I see some people really, really helping with that. So thank you. I appreciate that. So let's get started. We're going to talk about how to actually take what Zach has done and perfected and how to actually use everything in here. So prior to us jumping on this call together, I opened up my command and I logged in. And what we're going to spend our time in today, the applet that we're going to use is campaigns. So I'm going to just click on this red box right up here, because if you're not super familiar with command, that allows you to then see the full menu and all the different applets that you have. And we're going to go right into campaigns. Campaigns looks like, one second. Campaigns looks like a megaphone. So think of it this way. This is how we're getting our marketing message out. So this is how we're getting that marketing message out. We're going to click on campaigns, and then that's going to take us directly into where we can run these paid ads. Now, while that is loading, I'm actually going to drop something in chat for you guys, and I'll drop this in a couple times. But this is 2 links for you. One link to our regional YouTube channel. That's where you'll be able to see all of these recordings. One link to our regional Facebook page. Go ahead and give that a follow so that any workshops that we have like this, you'll be able to see those there. So we're going to go in and we are going to create a paid Facebook ad. So to do that, all that we're going to do is click on the top right where it says create campaign. So just to backtrack just a little bit, all that we've done so far is logged into command. We've clicked on the megaphone, which is campaigns, and we're going to come right up here and we're going to choose create campaign. I'm going to pause for just a second. As we get down the next steps, if for some reason your Facebook account is not linked in settings to command, it's not going to allow you to proceed. If that's the case, that we can update that in settings, which I'm happy to answer at the end of the class, or reach out to your Market Center tech trainer and they can really sit down with you and walk you through how to do that. So we're going to go in and we're going to say that we want to create a campaign, and we are going to choose the first option, which is a social ad paid. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to choose that one. And then we're going to give this campaign a name. If we were doing this around a listing, we highly recommend that we would just call this the address of the listing. So we're going to name it Listing Avenue. And then what is our goal? Do we want to advertise a listing? Do we want to advertise multiple listings? Do we want to attract listings? Do we want to attract talent, brand awareness, event awareness, attract buyers, or other? We're going to stick with advertise listing, but you guys could go in and pick any of these goals that you would like. And then down here, it's going to ask us, where will your campaign run? We're going to run this on Facebook. Have an understanding that we can run this on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if we were to choose Facebook and Instagram, it would actually create 2 ads, one for Facebook, one for Instagram, but it would do it almost simultaneously. So we could save a little bit of time there. We're just going to choose Facebook because we're going to follow, if he's getting 193 leads, I'm just going to follow this example. And then we're going to choose create campaign. Now, he said, I'm using a listing. I've asked people in my Market Center if they would be okay with me using the listing. So let's say that that's the path that we're going to go down. If you had any current active listings, those listings would show up here and you'd be able to choose any of those. I'm actually going to go into all of the listing, and then we're going to go in, we'd be able to search by property address. We'd be able to pull any listing that we want in. I'm going to pull in this one just because it's in Texas and it's actually, let's do this one. Let's do the 1.8 million. Why not? Right. So we're going to choose this one. We're going to say we're going to choose this listing, and then it's going to pop up and it's going to pull all of the details in for me. So you'll see how like it's done this super quick for me. I'm just checking chat really quick. Has anyone had success with Twitter ads? We've only tried Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, Lynn, that's a great question. If anybody has, please feel free to answer Lynn in chat. Lynn, I've only done Instagram and Facebook as well and had the best success with Facebook as well. And then who has a better ROI? We tend to see Facebook. I do see that Instagram people tend to get more follows and engagement. However, the higher number of leads we actually see through Facebook. So if anybody has different kind of thoughts or anything that you've seen, please, we'd love to hear that and just post that in chat. All right, so we've come in here, we've added the listing, we've come right down here. We're going to go through the text first. So you'll see main copy right here. And then pay attention over here on the right. this is where it starts to build your ad out. So this is where, as we start to add details, we see all of that. So you'll see this says it's a coveted 20-foot wide 3-family home located on downtown Garden Street in Hoboken with renovations throughout. Great opportunity to live in the duplex and collect income as is, or create a large single family or 2 duplexes. I would put no more wording than that. So do me a favor, I try to make these as engaging as possible. Would anybody read past all of that information if you were looking at something on Facebook? So yes or no, would you read any more detail than that? Yeah, I mean, you guys are like, we wouldn't even read that much, quite frankly. So this is where, like, going back to Zach's point, just do what it has for you there. Now, the main copy, I will tell you, comes from your MLS public remarks. So for those of you that, you know, in a previous life, maybe were an author or had dreams of being an author, and we have like this beautiful detail of it, we might just want to cut some of that down. You can have 250 characters at the most. This is 227. So I really wouldn't go past this. And all of you are just proving that point, right? That unfortunately nobody reads anymore. And the headline down here is where Zach said, make sure that we're paying attention to whatever we're looking at, that headline is just attention grabbing, right? Like new construction, new on market, whatever we want to put there. I'm just going to do this because I think this makes more sense of it. I'm going to put headline goes here. And then as we start to build this out, that's where you guys will be able to see, okay, this is where that headline would be right there. And then we do have a description down here that we can use the suggestion. We can shuffle it if we don't love that suggestion, or we could write our own. So the description that they have is, try this. You could be coming home to this. Maybe I don't love that. I'm going to say shuffle, schedule a private tour with me today, view photos and videos of this home. We're going to keep that one because people like to look at photos. So maybe we think we'll get better engagement there. I'm going to choose use suggestion and then right down there, it's going to keep it as that. I see a great question. What about adding emojis? And you even added an emoji in your question. So bonus points to you for that. I've seen engagement of people using emojis and kind of spacing it out properly around that. I think we can't get like too emoji heavy, but maybe test one out and see how that works. If you wanted to do that, we would just click on the emoji button right here. We'd be able to see all of them and we can pull them in from there. So something that I want you to pay attention to, and let's do this. Let's do another question in chat for this. When you guys are looking on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, whatever that is, are you usually looking at that on your phone or on a laptop? So just answer for me in chat. Do you generally look at social media on your phone or your laptop? Okay, I don't see one answer of laptop yet. Phone or tablet. Okay, fair enough. So make sure that you're doing one little tip here. Over here on the right is where we're going to see how this ad is actually getting built out. Pay attention because right up here, it's going to show you the preview of the ad. The default is the web feed. Just click on that drop down and let's look at the mobile feed and see something happens here. Do you notice here that when I go to mobile, because it scrunches it down a little bit, all of this wording doesn't stay. And sometimes it's just like we want one kind of captivating thing that they can look at. So pay attention to this because we might actually see, okay, maybe I want to get rid of some of this because I don't like how, 100% more reason to use less wording. So we might come in here and we might take out a fair amount of these words because it's cut off. And I just think sometimes it looks maybe a bit less professional. It's a bit less eye-catching for that. I'm going to move it back just so that we can see it in a larger format there. So this is all the text that we would have entered. Again, the main copy, headline, which we want just something attention grabbing right there. And then the description. Make sure we hit save before we go into the next section. We're going to go into media as the next section. So we're going to come right into media and we're just going to hit configure. Now, I've already added the photo that I want because I pulled in the listing. But let's say that you're not doing this for a listing, or maybe you're doing it for a listing that isn't in MLS yet. So we weren't able to actually link that. Maybe we have a photo that we want to upload that we don't have. We can do that by coming in here and clicking add more. And then we have the ability, maybe we want to use a different photo for this listing. We can see all of the ones that we have from MLS. Maybe we want to add images, either uploading, or we can pull them in from your designs library. So upload image would then just allow you to come in and say, let me pull this from my file, my laptop, to be able to add those. Or we can add a video. So we could upload or embed a linked video that way. We are going to keep it with the photo that we have. And 1 second, let me just mute someone. There we go. We're going to keep it with the photo that we have, and we're going to say that we like the way this looks. And then down here, you're going to have your DBA logo, which is just your Market Center logo. That will automatically be there. So we're just going to hit save. And then we're going to come down to the Facebook settings, which is probably some of the most important data that we have. So we're going to come in here. A lot of you might actually realize, or not realize, I should say, that there's a chance that you're actually an admin of more than one Facebook business page. So make sure that you're paying attention to this. Right here, it's going to say, okay, this is the account that this is going to be run off of. This is the business page that we're going to run this off of. So a lot of times I actually find that some real estate agents are admin. You might have like a side hustle business. You might be an admin of another neighborhood Facebook page. So we always want to make sure that we're using the correct business page of where we want this to be posted. So right here under page, I've got a drop down menu. I'm going to choose the page where I want this to run. And then do yourself a favor, scroll all the way back up to the top of this page again. Take a look over here where the ad is and make sure that this is the right thumbnail and make sure that this is the right page that we want to run this off of. If I have some productivity coaches on here, because I know Zach's the PC, make sure if we're running this through the team account, you might want to make sure that you're doing this on the correct. Do we have like a Facebook business page for the Market Center? What are we running that off of? So just make sure you're paying attention to that. Down here is where Zach said, best quote of the day, just give them your money and let it run. And that's what we're really going to allow it to do. So the destination right here says Facebook lead generation form recommended. So it's even telling you this is highly what we recommend. So what that means is as soon as someone clicks on this button right here that says learn more, or we can switch that, learn more, sign up, apply now. I'm going to keep it as learn more. As soon as someone clicks on that, a box is going to pop up that Facebook actually already has all their contact information. It's the details that they have on their Facebook account of how they log into Facebook. Facebook's going to pull all that data in. That's the contact information that's going to be associated with the contact as soon as they come into your command as a lead. So huge, you guys, we want to make sure that the destination is the Facebook lead generation form. We don't want to change that to site or landing page. We want to keep that as Facebook lead generation form. It says recommended right next to it. Underneath, Zach did mention that I still have an option after they click on that learn more and Facebook pulls their information. I still have an option to send them to a website. So let's say that this was a listing that you guys were advertising. What website would you want to send them to? Just post in chat. Market Center Tech Trainers are not allowed to answer. What website would you want to send them to? Yes, awesome. Great job. Your own website, but let's make it a little bit of a deeper mousetrap. And here's what I mean. So let's go. I'm going to move some things around. We're going to go on a little bit of an adventure, you guys. Bear with me for 1 second. We're going to pull something up here. Okay, let's say that we're going to find something that's a beautiful listing. Bear with me for 1 second. Let's say that we're listing some land. We've got land for sale. We know that we need to buy dirt. Gary told us that. So let's say that you guys clicked on this ad. I always feel like an eye doctor when I ask the question this way, so bear with me. Let's say that you're a consumer and you clicked on this ad, and then once you click on the ad, it pulls your information. It then drops you over to a website. Which site do you think you're going to engage with more? This site, which is site A, Or let's say this was the listing, this site, which is site B. So just do me a favor, drop in chat. Which one do you think you'd spend more time with, A or B? And let's see what we're getting. So this is B, and then I'll go back to A just to remind you, this is what A is. Okay, we are overwhelmingly seeing B. Okay, we think, yeah, Brian, you're so right. If I come here, you guys, I have to do work. Like I have to do more work to figure out details about this. And let's go back to this ad here. If this is the ad that I'm looking at, what 2 pieces of information do I not know about this property? So if I'm a consumer and I can only see this right here, there's 2 really important details that are missing. So I don't see the price. What else? Address. Yes, 100%. So I don't have the price and I don't have the address. So then you sent me to this site where I don't know the price and I don't know the address. And so I'm just coming to this like, well, what do I do now? Quite frankly, I'm not really sure what to do with this. Versus you've already captured their information on Facebook. So it's less about the lead capture of that point. It's more about you clicked on this link because you wanted more information, and here I am giving you the information. We never want to feel like scammy or spammy of you said you wanted this, you clicked on this, and now you have to figure it out for yourself. So this is where I do see sometimes people just get a tiny bit confused. So all that we have done to figure out this link is we've gone to my website as a consumer. So not where I edit the site, not where I build out the site. We're just going to the site and we're going to actually enter the property address right here. So we would enter the property address. Once we have that property address, this up here is the link that we're going to include in that ad of this listing. So all we're going to do is copy that. I'm just doing that behind the scenes on my keyboard. And then we're going to take that. This is the website URL that we're going to drop right in that. Janet, I don't even know you and I love you and I love your question in chat. What if you want to do a more general ad for maybe homes under 400,000? I love it. Let's get rid of this one and let's walk through how we would do that. Because Zach said, I've had great success also of in this market, here's a home around that area. So let's come back into our website. And I'm going to actually just search for a different area. Let's do Florida. And then that's going to take me to all the homes in this local market. I'm going to come right up here. Oops, I went out too far. Too many homes. Bear with me for just a second while we find some additional homes. Perfect. I'm going to come right over here to the right and I'm going to take and I'm going to basically filter down here. So I've got for sale. I don't want pending, right? So I'm going to leave that as it is. And then I've got price right here. Price can be a sliding scale of anything that I want. So I can come in here and if I say I want the maximum price to be 800,000, maybe it's like that sweet spot wherever you are. I can come in here. Debbie, your screen is blank. Are you guys still not seeing my screen? Are you guys good? You can see. Okay, thank you. And then we can come in here. Maybe we have a minimum of something here. So we can come in and then just hit done. And then you'll see that's taken me down to 23 properties. Maybe I say I only want houses as well. So I can take that off. I can do bedroom, bath as well. And then I do have the ability to also come in. I could do square feet. I could do amenities. So maybe on a pool, porch, deck, garden, whatever you want to do. So I can come in and then this is great question. This is that same link. You'll notice it's a significantly longer link, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to copy that link. That's the link I'm going to drop down here. So I could drop any link. The trick is that mousetrap, right? So the trick is it just not being your homepage where they have to actually do the work. The trick is taking the time to go in there and to do that. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to keep it moving. Down here is where we can add that audience. We're going to come in here. We have the ability to create that custom audience right through here. And then we can pick a certain area. So this is where Zach also mentioned, I might run one ad in Hendersonville. I might run that same ad in Naples where I see people are moving. So you guys could actually do this anywhere across the world. So start to understand those migration and referral patterns and run these ads where people are moving to your area from. So we can come in here. Now it's going to pick Hoboken because that's the listing that I picked. But if I wanted to run it in a specific area, I can come in and search for any location here as well. And then I can also come in and change that radius. So we have to play by Facebook rules for this. For fair housing, I can do a 15-mile radius. Down here is where I can add interest, but Zach mentioned this, and I can tell you I hear from a lot of people, just Zach says it best, give him your money and let it do the job. But as we start to really add like too many interest, it just really isolates and it filters down sometimes almost too much to the people that we want to potentially get to from this. So I'm gonna leave it, and I'm actually not gonna run or add any interest there. I'm gonna have it run exactly as I want it to, and I'm just gonna hit save. And then down here is where I can configure the ad and the lead settings. This is huge, you guys. So Zach mentioned that he's going to automatically tag them so he knows that they're coming in from this. So let's say that I don't have this tag, and let's say that I actually want this to be called listing Facebook lead. So I can start to type and I can create a new tag on the fly. I can even give it a color, and that means it's automatically going to be tagged as such. Let's say that I also know that this is potentially going to be a buyer. I can also tag them as such. So I could add multiple tags to them. I can also assign them to smart plans. I have to have the smart plan already in my library, but this is huge. So imagine that as leads are potentially coming in, I could immediately be adding them to the smart plan. You're not having to do anything. The system is doing it for you. A note about that is if we're running a smart plan for leads like this, make sure that the first step is an email, because if a lead comes in at 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't know that you're going to stop what you're doing, which is hopefully sleeping, and make a phone call to them, versus an email will go out. If you're using Twilio, a text message will not go out until around 10 a.m. the next morning. So if we know it's like speed to lead and we immediately want an email to go out, we can do it that way. So this is not where you could add a smart plan to your library. This is where you can see existing smart plans that you already have in your library. And so we can type down here. And so maybe I have Facebook ad follow-up campaign. I'm going to say, yep, I immediately want them to be added to that smart plan. I'm going to hit save. And then the final thing that we have to pay attention to is the budget. Zach didn't make any changes here. It's starting on the 24th. So this is going to go through an approval process on the next step where you won't see that. It just goes behind the scenes, just making sure that we're following all of Facebook's rules and guidelines. So it won't start the same day. So it will always start the next day. It'll run for 10 days. Maybe we're like, listen, in our market, this thing is gone by 2 days. And I actually I just want to run it a little bit differently. We can change that date and time here. So we can say, I actually only want to run it until the 29th. And then down here, we can switch out that budget if we would like to. We're just going to hit save. And then as soon as we have basically verified all of these green check marks here, all we would do is come up to the very top of the page. I am not going to do this because I don't want to spend money on a listing that is not mine in Hoboken, New Jersey, but we would just hit publish campaign. And then as soon as we go through this, that would, it goes through approval. It would start hopefully tomorrow. So I'm gonna stop for just a second, just to see any questions. Okay, so it looks like we answered that. Picture can be anything. I use something like that. Okay, perfect. I also wanted to show you guys, I'm gonna come in here and just under media, because in case you weren't doing a listing, I wanna show you something that I created in designs. So I'm gonna come in here to add more. I'm gonna go to add images. I'm gonna upload an image, and then let me just browse. I have it right here. So I just created this. So maybe I would want this. We'll get rid of this one just so we can just see what this one looks like. And I just made this, right? The Hendersonville market is hot. Click learn more for a free list of new homes on the market. Now I could change whatever I want. I'm going to move my DBA over to the left because I don't want it to cover that up. So this was something that I just made very, very quickly in designs. So if you don't currently have a listing, if you don't like the photos of the listing, if you want to do something different, you can create anything in designs, which is the marketing piece of Command. And we could take that, drop that right in here as well. Let's see, is there a way to add more than one link in the same ad? Janet, there's not at this point. Zach answered that. Did we receive an email confirmation? Yeah, so you'll actually get notifications through the Command app, like in real time of any leads coming in, which is amazing. Is it true Facebook doesn't like images with added text overlays as much as straight pictures? I don't know, Michelle, I haven't heard that. I know previously like Zillow and stuff didn't love stuff like that. But I haven't heard that as much, but it might be something to kind of change. And then what about the headline? I might've missed it. So the headline that's directly in the text. And so headline would go, see right here where it says headline goes here. That's where your headline would go. So I might say like, click here for a list of properties or whatever it is, right? But it's something that we want to really like grab their attention of why they potentially might want to take a look at that. All right, I think I am up to date with chat questions. Yes, we are. Okay, I want to, because you guys, 97 of you and training rooms full of people have stuck with me. So are you cool if I give you bonus content for the next like 3 to 4 minutes? Yes. Okay. We hope so. Okay. So let's go into referrals because I actually want to show you if maybe people in your market are like, I don't know where people are moving from, or I don't really know what's going on. Let's talk about how we can use referrals for some nice little migration patterns. This is just going to be KW transactions. So I want to just clarify that first. However, it's nice to have an understanding of. So I'm going to go into referrals and then I'm going to go into the map. So all I've done is I've gone into the referrals and then we're going to come right up here to the map. And if you've ever used referrals before, you probably hang out in this land, which is production, which is what allows us to search for a specific area, find an agent in production to be able to, send them a referral or find out some business from them. I'm going to actually click on this drop-down menu and I'm going to come right in here and I'm going to choose referral patterns. And then I'm going to enter an area where you live. So let's say, just for the sake of time, that we're going to do Charlotte, North Carolina. And then you'll notice that we're going to start to see where the largest number of transactions that are KW are coming from to Charlotte. So you'll notice up here, I've got referrals that have been received. So people that are sending them to Charlotte agents. I've got referrals that have been sent out. So we're going to come here to received and we're going to see that it's Fort Mill to Charlotte. We're seeing a big, obviously they're right there, but that might be an agent that doesn't want to work there. Charlotte to Charlotte, Oklahoma City. I bet none of us maybe would have guessed that. Newark, Wilmington, Columbia, Greensburg, Hendersonville. Zach, get on that. Hendersonville, find your Charlotte person. Greenville, Greensboro, Washington, D.C., Burlington, Kernersville, Augusta, Georgia, Fayetteville, Austin, Texas, Orlando, San Antonio, Chapel Hill. So you can use this, anywhere across the country and honestly across the world to be able to figure out those referral patterns. And so use this to your advantage and say, okay, maybe I'm actually going to run this ad in Charlotte, and I'm also going to run it in Greenville, South Carolina, because we see that there's some sort of percentage of people that are moving there as well. So you've got all of those resources that Zach mentioned of in your MLS. You might be able to figure that out, having conversations with people in your market, having conversations with buyers that you've represented. This is also a resource for you that's directly in Command, that you are able to do that. And then, yeah, Brian, that's huge, right? I mean, is Amazon adding something? Are they coming to your city? What are we looking at for that and being able to find that? Huge, huge, huge. New medical plazas, different things like that. Yeah, Zach, best advice is to keep it simple. That's, if we could end it, like we're going to end with that statement. So thank you guys so much for being here. Zach, huge shout out to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. You guys, we will continue with these types of workshops. I'm going to stop share real quick. We will continue with these workshops. So what we're going to do in the future is we're just going to continue to run it like this, where we actually have agents that are using some component of command at a high level. In April, we will be spotlighting an agent that has been using the monthly neighborhood nurture smart plan. And from that, he has closed, I want to make sure I have my numbers right. It is at the very least, it was an additional $1.5 million in business from literally clicking one button that he went through. So I'm going to drop in chat one more time where you guys can find all of our recordings. I'll drop that link in there. And then I will also drop the link to our regional Facebook page. This just has to take a little bit of time to convert, and I'll make sure I have this uploaded to YouTube by the end of the day. And so you'll have all of that. And yes, Zach accepts all referrals, you guys. So he took time out of his day and prepared for this. So if you need somebody in the Hendersonville area, Zach Ruff is your person. So thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. Make it an awesome day, and we will see you all soon. Thank you.